racing schedule, detailed rules about the various classes. It all looks very, very promising for next year. As we welcome you back live to Sebring, there is the battle for the lead, despite a penalty of a full minute in the pit lane earlier on. The number 2 Audi has caught up with the number 1. Oliver Jarvis leads. Luca Di Grassi second. Two great young drivers with a chance at a Sebring overall victory.
Yeah, Ollie Jarvis got a little bit balked there going through turn 1. I think Lucas was thinking about making a move down into turn 3 in the braking zone, but got to keep it clean. I mean, the race is theirs to lose, and you can see there the two different rear wing designs in terms of the aerodynamic. The wings are essentially the same, but the car behind is that high downforce, the 2013 spec, has those little winglets off to the side, which are not connected to the rear wing through the regulations, but via the rear bodywork. So just maximizing the downforce for these incredibly powerful hybrid machines.
They've caught up the sister car with over a minute, probably a minute and a half, to be honest, after they had that contact penalty, which is a stop in 60 seconds, plus the delta time, 40 or so. So that second place car is definitely the quicker of the two. Yeah,
well, it's a question of when the track's a little bit slick midday. I mean, you're middle of the afternoon, you're going to have a little bit more grip with the high downforce setup. Talked to Alan McNish after qualifying yesterday, said had a bit more corner speed, but the one car was faster down the straightaways, and he got pit by 9 thousandths of a second, so there wasn't a lot in it. And here we see they're going to come through these final corners here on at that back Ullman straightaway, and this is where the car in front theoretically should be a bit quicker, but can Di Grassi do anything in the draft there? He's pulling up on him, pops to the inside.
Plenty of time left.
And he should have the damp. Oh, Jarvis! Did they touch? We talk about you can't see very well in these cars, but you would think that the guys would have been on the radio alerting Ollie Jarvis that your teammate is coming down the inside. He makes the move ultimately, but that was close.
Looks like a little damage on the left front of the 2 when it goes by. We won't see it going through 1. It's on the wrong side. But right above the wheel arch, it looks like possibly has got a little damage there.
Wow, that was close, boys. We're talking about how hard it has been for these drivers to get used to the low visibility that you have in this R18 chassis. Now, the 2 cars, there's new technology where it's almost like a front view camera, a periscope you can see on top of the roof line there. That actually gives them a little video camera and screen inside the cockpit. Ollie Jarvis, I don't think you'd have pitched a teammate like that if he'd known he was coming. So again, maybe that was a question of the visibility, Dorsey.
Absolutely. I mean, those guys are under only one order, and that is don't take each other out. Other than that, they can do whatever they want with racing.
And Di Grassi was alongside him right there, and Jarvis just takes him all the way down to the wall.
No question about contact. You can see the number 1 car on the outside got turned. And there's a damage I'm talking about, too.
Here we're on board with Di Grassi. He goes down to the inside. Now it's a braking duel. He's got more downforce. Look at that. Look how tight that was to the wall on the right.
That's a
clips the bodywork on the left.
182 mile per hour bump right there.
Boy, quick hands from Jarvis, who was able to straighten that car up. He could have gotten spun across the bow of the other car.
Take a look right here. This is the new periscopers are calling it, and that is the cameras. You see a lens here. There's one on the other side that looks out.
You see the screen, Dorsey, as well.
Right there that the driver gets to look through.
Talking to the driver, they said we're still not quite accustomed to using that. You just want to be looking so far down the road. It's almost a bit of a distraction, but ultimately they will get used to it and try and utilize it.
That
you see it?
Isn't it a lot to ask of a driver like Luca Di Grassi, who is in the car basically for only the second time in his career? You're heading down into Sunset Corner, one of the most difficult corners in racing here at Sebring, and you're going to look down at the TV screen and not out the front?
Well, I think the thinking is, Bob, that you're actually looking down through that side of the cockpit as you're turning right, for example. But even so, talking to Alan McNish last night, he said, you know what, I'm not comfortable yet. He said, maybe with time I'll get used to it, but right now, you know, with the bumps and as busy as this racetrack is, you really got your eyes more focused through the windshield looking down the racetrack.
I would think so. Now the leaders in traffic.
Dr. Ulrich's heartbeat went up a little bit.
Oh, you're not kidding. Probably got on the radio, too, more than likely.
The Di Grassi with this high downforce configuration. He's also got a new updated hybrid system that really tries to maximize the lower speeds that we see at tracks like this in comparison to Le Mans.
Now let's pick up the action in P2 with the leader in class. See the Audis continue to filter their way through traffic. Ryan Hunter-Reay in the level 5. There he comes.
He's about to get into that lead GT battle, too. And
right. And you can see how difficult it is to get out of the way when faster cars come up from behind.
You literally can't at this racetrack. You use every square inch of the road, and there's some places you just can't disappear from.
Been a great year for Ryan Hunter-Reay, winning the IndyCar title in his off-season. He stayed busy. You think about all of the media responsibilities that the title comes with. And he and his wife Becky had their first child, little boy, born in the off-season, and also spent time over in Bangkok competing in the Race of Champions against the likes of Michael Schumacher. So times are sweet for Ryan Hunter-Reay, and he deserves it.
He deserves a Green X award. He's fast and efficient. Let's go to Andrew.
Hey, Marino, we're almost 5 hours into the race, and now you're about to get into the level 5 car for the first time. How do you motivate yourself?
It's quite easy. You've got to go drive a racing car at one of the greatest races in the world. It's not difficult. The trick of sports car is being ready when you're needed. You obviously got to make sure that you don't peak too early, get too much adrenaline going, stop being relaxing back at the bus. Watching Johnny O'Connell contradict himself on TV and generally having some fun. So, yeah, obviously Scott did a great start to the race. Ryan's continued his good work. Ryan and Simon in the other car are doing great as well. So, just trying to make sure that we continue what we did yesterday and get on 1-2 for the level 5 team again.
And of course you're a new dad, a bit of a surprise, an early delivery.
Yeah, my little boy Luca decided to turn up last Friday when I arrived here, so I haven't had a chance to see him yet. Very much looking forward to getting home Monday and seeing him and my wife Holly, but I've been borrowing Darren Turner's baby, just having a little cuddle, so it's been okay.
Thanks very much.
A lot of newborns down in the paddock. Richard Westbrook, Darren Turner, Ryan Hunter-Reay, now Marino.
That's right. He doesn't have to walk far to find a new baby to cuddle if he's feeling lonely.
Must have been a lot of time off between the seasons.
Yeah, the back time, all of this, see what was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Hunter-Reay on his own lap right now. The second place car in class, Guy Cosmo, in the similar HPD ARX chassis from the Extreme Speed Motorsports team. Number 8 in the pits. Let's see if it's routine. Down to Jamie Howe.
It looks like this is going to be just a fuel-only pit stop. They do not have any new Continental tires out over the wall, and it is indeed fuel-only, though the car has not refired yet. I would have expected to see him leave. He might have been holding and waiting for the number 81, who is also on pit road, to go past. We're starting to start seeing some pit stops happen of teams that did not pit under that last full course caution. It looks like Rebellion will be in pretty soon. The number 500. This is going to give Performance Tech the lead in the PC category. The cars almost identical. It all comes down to the team and the driver. So we're going to see a lot more of this back and forth leading the class as the day goes on.
Charlie Shears at the keyboard there, the number 500. Why 500, you ask? Well, notice visitflorida.com among the sponsors. This is the 500th anniversary of the discovery of what is now the state of Florida. And there's a lot going on to promote tourism here.
We talk about ladder systems in motorsport. ALMS seems to have their own. When the IMSA Lights Championship, Charlie's run a lot.
Trouble here.
27
Dempsey cars.
Right. Coming on to, that's turn 17, but the car's headed the wrong direction on the outside.
Joe Foster behind the wheel. Andy Lally put this car on the pole. They've had a little bit of drama during the race hours so far.
I don't know if he's got in that wall. That's an awkward position to have the car in.
Is that damage at the right
front?
front?
It might be right
I
front,
believe.
yeah. We'll see if he gets it out of here.
Nope. Popped one of the little lights out there in the front fascia.
Yeah,
you can see the splitter is at a bad angle.
Across the hood.
He's got a lot of damage.
away with one. Well, it could be.
It could be a lot worse than 17, yes, for sure. And he gets to get in the pits, which is right here also. Well, he doesn't go in. I don't know why that would be. I mean, he was right there. It was handed to him. I would have gone in there and get that fixed.
And now he risks getting stranded on track. Watch the right side of your screen as he enters the corner.
He lost it early, Calvin, way early.
And just a light brush, obviously, from the damage that we saw. And maybe they're thinking maybe they'll throw a yellow, try and keep out there and take advantage of creating your own caution. But he'll be feeling it out. Maybe say if it was a light bump, let me just try this. Just take a mediocre speed lap and just feel it out.
It doesn't look that bad, to be honest with you, as long as it didn't smack that right front tire and wheel on the wall.
And we got debris on the front straightaway now.
Player, I think.
Something
damage on
from
that.
Joe's car.
Yeah, you were right. You said the same thing.
Number 1 Audi is in the pits, and Andrew Marriott is there.
Yeah, and Oliver Jarvis just jumped out of the car. All the mechanics go to work here, as usual at the front. One mechanic lies on the ground and looks underneath for a visual check. The fuel is going in, and they are getting ready to change those Michelins. So Jarvis just already hanging up his seat. They've got a special way of hanging his seat up on the awning. He's already done that. Now that fresh set of tyres goes on, and the boys go to work. This pit stop should take them about 45 seconds. Down off the jacks and away it powers with the LED lights blazing away.
Well, they have to be careful about how they choreograph the pit stops on these diesel-electric hybrids. The mechanics have to be assured by the engineers that it's okay to touch the car without danger of electric shock. Then they wait for the fuel, and then they change tires as quickly as they can.
Yeah, they basically get told to go to a certain mode with the system, and it basically dumps the energy out before they get to pit lane to make it safer for the crews to work on. Rebellion is in.
And it's the number 12 that's in. The number 13 just left pit lane. It was a fuel-only stop for them. This is full service for the number 12, including a driver change. Nicola Prost now behind the wheel of the car. Fuel is complete. They take on about 21 gallons of the E10. You see the red wheel on the front. Here's right away the team with those tires being the same size. They have different color rims. It's red in the front, gold in the back. The team saying it's red on the rear. It doesn't steer. Nice way to keep it simple there. Andrew, the number 2's in.
So now the number 2 car is in. These pit stops now running together. Remember early on the 2 cars split. But just watching this pit stop from up on the steps of Audi. And this looks a routine. They're going to put some tyres on it. Fuel is going in. This diesel fuel having transformed the image of this kind of fuel. Back in England, I run a diesel Audi these days, and it really is astounding how it is compared with the old days. See, as it goes away, not a wisp of black smoke at all. Remember those old trucks that used to belch smoke? Great technology.
You'll see the strategy typically is they'll change tires when there's a driver change, so it allows everyone a bit more time. When there's a no tire change, driver will stay in. You saw a couple of servicing things going on. We talked about no servicing during refueling. One thing they are allowed is to clean the windshield and the headlights, and also change that drink canister over on the left side.
Back out and quickly up to speed. Don't forget, tomorrow there'll be a throwdown in Thunder Valley. Find out why the Bull Ring always produces road rage, incredible racing. It's the world's fastest half mile. And NASCAR Race Day is there, live from Bristol, tomorrow, 10:30 Eastern, only here on Speed. Great look from on board one of the Rebellion P1 cars. There are your leaders in the 5 classes of competition. We'll be back to the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring.
Monday night, Are You Faster Than a Redneck is all new.
Oh, another little chick mobile. How cute.
John Reap and his Mullet Mafia roll out the big guns.
Show me the muscle.
To shut out these trash-talking drivers.
I would love to destroy those guys in the station wagon. Hold up there, city boy. Listen to this, KG.
Don't miss an all-new Are You Faster Than a Redneck? Monday night at 9 Eastern, only on Speed.
This isn't just a car. It's a legend. This isn't just a family. It's a statement. And this isn't just a brand. It's an attitude. This is SRT. Street and racing technology.
So this performance...
1988 at Sebring was the height of the GTP era, with swoopy entries from Nissan, Jaguar, and Porsche. But our eyes were all on the Roush-prepared Mercury Cougar, driven to the GTO class victory by Wally Dallenbach Jr. and our own Dorsey Schrader.
How about that one, Doss?
That's a cool little car, wasn't it? That was one of my favorite cars for sure. That Cougar was a big beast, but it was a lot of fun.
That was a beast, no question about it. And you drove it well, dude.
Thank you, buddy.
How many wins have you had here, Dorsey?
Just the one. You know, it's funny because you drove that same car, 2 years later and won.
Yeah. The audio is not quite synced up on this. Either that or he's very, very brave.
That's right.
Word from the pits is now we're on board the 13. This car may be called in for a penalty for blocking Matthias Besch. Oh, he made the pit. Okay. Updating the news from timing and scoring. He has served that penalty.
So the law has been laid down today. They're not going to handle any blocking, any rubbing at this stage of the game. Now, whether they change that towards the end, we'll have to wait and see. But this is a nasty little
look back there for the number 6, the muscle milk machine. Roman Dumas is just slicing through traffic. There he is going down the inside now, being followed by the number 2 Audi.
Watch this diesel power versus the petrol-powered car.
It gets really, confusing down here with you got GT cars in there. They cannot stop at the same time.
Look at Dumas, deep on the brakes. Degrassi takes it even deeper there. Unbelievable action down in turn 17.
Boy.
That is really cool. That is a really bumpy corner, Dorsey, to be taken even deep. Oh,
there's that debris. Hope he didn't cut a tire.
And that's that air dam off the Porsche. We saw the 4.
You ought to be thinking about these things. That's been sitting there for a long time, and suddenly as the leader, you suddenly run straight over the top of that. That can cut down one of those Michelins in a heartbeat.
And he threw it up in the air, and all these guys with open cockpit tires is vulnerable to get that right in the face.
That's right.
I'm surprised they haven't stopped to fix that.
Well, Oliver Jarvis has climbed out of his machine. Let's join Andrew and hear from him.
Yeah, well, actually, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich just come to have a word with Ollie now. I think I can get it. Ollie, you were pushing really hard there, were you?
Yeah, I mean, the first sim was reasonably good. I thought we were a little unfortunate with the safety car, but they allowed the number 2 car to pit, and basically a free pit stop, and after that they had fresh tyres, so a difficult second sim for me. But we're still in the fight, and that's the plan. We said stay on in there for the first sort of 10 hours and fight for the win the last 2.
Now, there was a little brush with Lucas, your teammate. Talk us through that, because we're just going to roll the tape.
I haven't seen it, but it was interesting in car, I have to say. We overtook an LMP mid-straight. I must admit, I didn't see him. I didn't think he'd make a move there. I turned in, and just as I turned in, he clipped the right rear. Fortunately, it was only a light brush, and we both managed to make it round. But, a close call, and as you can see, we're fighting hard, and anything can happen.
Well, our viewers out there probably don't realise how bad the visibility is. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's very difficult in the car. I mean, we sit very far back. When you see the onboard camera, it's sat much further, so it's got a much wider angle of view, whereas the driver's much further back, and we're very limited to just in front, so it's very difficult to see sort of what's beside you. So it makes life a little bit harder, but we're teammates, so we have to be aware, and hopefully nothing like that will happen for the rest of the race.
Young Brit doing a great job.
Who does Oliver Jarvis remind you of more, Blackjack Brabham or Harry Potter?
And Ollie Jarvis talking about the visibility. What you're looking at on the right side of the screen as we framed up the car camera there is about what the drivers see. It's that peripheral view goes away, Dorsey. You really don't have a good feel for cars down to your tight quarters there.
Couple of big penalties coming up now. Stop plus 20, the 5.52 contender in the P2 class for pit lane speed limit violation.
That's a stop plus 20-second hold.
And the 0.2, Johannes van Overbeek in the ESM Tequila Patron car for a pit stop violation.
Right front tire down on this car, the 66.
The TRG machine.
He's limping that back around. He's aware of it. And what you don't want to do is have that carcass fly apart and blow the bodywork all off that car. He's just doing all you can do. You want to get back as quick as you can, but you can't risk blowing the bodywork and all the chassis. There's also a radiator in front up there that you can damage on that Porsche.
Absolutely. I mean, an extra 20 seconds getting the car back to pit lane can maybe save you 10, 15 minutes with a fix in pit lane. So this is where the discipline comes in. Long way to go. This is Ryan Hunter-Reay serving his penalty for a pit lane speed infraction. They've been struggling a little bit with the ECUs and various electrical systems on those HPD machines this week, so I'm not sure if that was just an error by the driver or whether there was something going on electrically that should hold them to the certain speed there.
They're going to have to pay this official more. He's working harder than anybody out there.
Great little battle yesterday in qualifying between the two IndyCar boys, Ryan Hunter-Reay and Ryan Briscoe. As Chris said at the front of the show, Ryan Hunter-Reay, the defending IndyCar champion, and Ryan Briscoe, the Indy 500 pole winner last year, still searching for a full-time IndyCar ride, but things are getting late. First race is next week at St. Petersburg.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to make it to pit lane without any damage. So good job done by Mr. Faulkner.
TRG stands for the Racers Group, Kevin Buckler's operation, long associated with Porsche. But they will be in the United Sports Car Championships next year, running an Aston Martin-based program. Here comes the number 4 Corvette in behind. Here's your leader in the GTC class. From Alex Job Racing, 8-time class winners here at Sebring.
Just like last year, running one car for the full season in GTC and one in GT. They've switched out from the Lotus to the Ferrari, of course, over in the GT category. And Cooper McNeil comes back to try and retain his title that he got last year. Lee Keane did the majority of the legwork, helping him in, when I say legwork, in terms of the majority of the races, working with Cooper McNeil. But even so, this team really knows how to win championships and had so much success over the years here at Sebring.
They have an amazing resume, including 4 titles, as you pointed out. How'd you like to be the parts guy at Alex Job Racing? They've run Lotus, Ferrari, and Porsche, sometimes simultaneously in the same race over the last year and a half or so. Up the backstretch he goes.
Talk about Jerome Bleekemolen being one of these studs that we're seeing appear in this GTC category. 31 car. Jamaziak currently running in second. The NGT team are really doing a brilliant job in this class.
He's trapped between a couple of GT cars that are having their own war.
This is Maxime Martin, disposing of the GTC car.
He's a new recruit for the BMW squad, has run BMW race cars over in Europe for a number of years with great success, but he has really talked about him being one of the quickest guys in a GT car worldwide. So BMW are very excited to have him. They're going to have him run full season alongside Bill Oberlin. Jörg Mueller assisting that driving crew here this weekend as the third.
The number 12 trying to get around. That was fairly neatly done.
Yeah, you got to be heads up about that for sure, though, because the prototype car has a lot of downforce, a lot of grip. But when you go back through there with those with the GT and GTC cars, they're not nearly as well stuck.
Down the long back straightaway.
These cars really have great straightaway speed because they don't have a lot of aerodynamic dive planes or anything on them. So everyone says, oh, I can't even pass a GTC car down the straightaway. Well, guess what? These things are little bullets.
Absolutely.
As we pan back now for the next car in line, which is the number 45 Flying Lizard.
They're narrow on their bodies and they're narrow on their wheels and tire, and it makes them really fast for top end wise.
This car driven by Nelson Canache Jr., the Venezuelan driver who actually won the newly debuted GX class at Daytona back in January. So he's already had success in one of the big enduros this year. And going to be great to see Flying Lizard campaigning in this category this year.
More stuff flying around on the straightaway there. I saw just something on the Audi that got picked up and thrown right to the wheel.
Oh, that's a moment.
That's a moment. Cut a car down? Cut a wheel down? Or a tire down?
It might. He might have cut it. That was a great save. Let me tell you, that was a high G-force corner. And it just broke free.
That was a lurch.
Ooh.
Let's find out more about the Flying Lizard team.
And it's a new era of Flying Lizard Motorsports. The team was founded in 2003, and they began racing in the GT category in 2004. They ran their first full season of competition, and by 2005, they already had their first podium at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Take them forward a couple more years. In 2008, they were strong enough for both the team, the driver, and the manufacturer championship, which they repeated in 2009. But now we're in 2013. Things have changed. Going forward, we have the new merger happening next year in 2014. So to commemorate the new era of racing, Flying Lizard made this poster. 2004 to 2012, a look back at all of their cars, all of their victories. You see 21 victories, 63 podiums. We're about to see a lot more good things, but new things from Flying Lizard Motorsports.
That truly was just about a Flying Lizard back there in turn one.
Yeah. But they're very excited to be in this category. We've regarded them as one of the best teams in the business, the way they execute a race. And they said, so often we're worried about performance of balance, having too much speed and getting the cars handicapped. Now we can just go out, run as fast as we can. It's not going to have any effect on the rest of the season.
There's a beautiful view at the massive crowd assembled here at Sebring International Raceway. There are your class leaders. We'll be back with more in just a moment. That's the kind of information you want. Don't worry about your mirrors. You're clear all the way out.
This gives a driver so much confidence when you have that experienced voice in your ear, Dorsey, just talking you through things.
Yep, you can't have enough eyes or ears, and people that are really experienced that you can trust 100% to do.
Pace car coming. Reset fuel.
You say pace car coming?
P-car.
P-car coming.
Here comes a prototype.
Yeah, here he comes.
Number 6.
He's right. There he goes.
Duma, or Doodah, as Brian likes to call him.
While we were in break, by the way, the 93 with Tommy Kendall in the controls is now back on track after that long repair. 29 laps down to the class leader.
This is good position, boys.
Yep.
Absolutely.
John Edwards getting his first laps of the day in the BMW, taking over from Joey Hand. Had the car in the lead for a couple of times. Takes it down to the outside. Try to take advantage of the hot Michelin tires. Was that Vulcan Porsche gets up to speed, gets to the inside. I think he's going to get him.
Yeah, Nick Tandy's on cold tires, remember. He just had those put on.
Side by side through here, but John should have the inside line for the braking zone right now. Down into 10, Cunningham corner.
Takes it.
Good job. Doesn't take long for John to find his feet in this BMW.
No, that you're sitting duck for about a half a lap while you've got those tires. Did everything you could. Nick, blocked and did all the things, and still got past.
Nick Tandy was just nominated as the 10th official Porsche factory driver. Big accolade for him as a young British driver.
Yep. And a team owner back in Britain. Runs Formula Ford cars, as many as 4 and 5 at a time. We had dinner with him the other night. Great fun chatting with him. His sister BMW is in. Is that Bill Oberlin going in?
Yeah, Maxime Martin jumping out, Billy Oberlin getting in. They're going to be regular teammates for the year. Spoke to Bill. He said the car was good on the initial run. Rear tires started to go away a little bit toward the end, so we've got to manage that. We know that the team has been working with different Michelin compounds. The sister car has been trying the hards. We'll have to see how those go, but this is a tough driver lineup. He said we don't quite have the straightaway speed. We've been seeing that right at the very end of the straightaways, Dorsey. The Vipers and the Ferraris seem to have a little bit on them. They're having to defend pretty vigorously.
Watching Bill right there systematically go through all the things that he had to do, plugging in his electrics and making sure his transponder was on, getting his cooling line set up, resetting the fuel mixture. Watched him do all those things.
20th career start here at Sebring for Bill Oberlin. That would make him number 3 all time. Hurley Haywood has a record with 28. Butch Leitzinger, who was in this race, is making his 21st start. So he and Bill will battle it out to see who can catch Hurley Haywood, if anyone.
Bill coming off a huge weekend with his teammate over in the Grand Am Series, Paul Dallalana. They won both classes on the same day. Both races, should I say, the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge race, then the Rolex GT, and a fierce battle with Andy Lally.
You know what's amazing about those numbers, Bob, that you just put out there is that when a guy goes 21 races here, unlike in NASCAR, that's 21 years of your life.
That's right.
You only get to do this once a year. So those numbers are big numbers.
I've been following Bill for a long time, called some of his races in the old Formula Atlantic series. Gosh, he's gone a long way. Let's hear from another member of the BMW team, Joey Hand with Andrew Marriott.
Joey, you got out of the car a few minutes ago, and it was a tough double stint with double tires. Don't you feel a bit beat up?
I feel all right. I mean, a little bit. It was a long double and a half stint, but it's already pretty racy. I think that's hopefully the fans at home and the fans here at Sebring are enjoying it, because this GT class, it always brings a race. We have this Crown Plaza BMW D4. It was running pretty good, and then we did the second. We tried to double stint a set of tires and learned a lesson there. That wasn't the right thing to do. So, otherwise the car's been pretty strong. I feel really good in the car, so they kept me in there.
Earlier on, Joey, you were in a big battle with a Ferrari.
Yeah, it's like Circuit 2012 finish, you know. It felt like we were racing at the end there. Everybody was battling position. It was dicey. It was a good show, but it wasn't, you know, we weren't going to tear anything up, you know. Like Big Bob says, don't do anything stupid. We want to get this thing to that last hour, 2 hours, so we can go racing. Right now, you know, we have a car that's consistent. We don't have the pace, definitely don't have the straight line speed. But if we just keep throwing down laps, stay out of trouble, we'll be good to go.
Joey looking for his third straight win here for BMW.
Yeah, certainly a great stint there by Joey, and this Z4 is certainly a lot different to the M3 that they've campaigned for the past 4 seasons, and here we see a comparison between the two. You can see the engine displacement with this new car, 4.4 litre versus 4 litre, a little less res, about 700 less. Big difference here though, Dorsey, front-mounted gearbox versus the transaxle, so the weight distribution is dramatically different, and another major change, of course, of the tyres, Dunlop to Michelin.
Wow, look at our lead battle overall. 2 Audis have found each other once again.
That's right. Benoit Trullier able to close up on Luca Di Grassi. Last lap, Trullier was 3 seconds quicker, and now he makes the pass. Something held up Di Grassi on that last lap and allowed his teammate to close up on him.
Trullier has now got the lead. The one car is at the front of this battle now, so he's got his way around Di Grassi somewhere on this lap. So changing positions here as we speak, and we believe Di Grassi might have got held up a little bit in traffic.
Got around him.
Trullier is certainly on a charge here.
Got around him and made up 3 seconds on top of it, so something happened. And take a look and see what we can see. A lot of speed, you can see that. I mean, he's got a big run going. Works to the inside, going down the straight.
Sets him up there down into Cunningham corner. And there's a reason that the gap got down there so quickly, and here's the reason why. We're on board now. This has gone back about a lap, and Di Grassi there having fought with that Viper, got pushed out wide down into Tower corner.
We knew something happened. That was big too. He centered the tub across that outside. See it right here? That's what I was talking about.
Went for a ride. You have to think about, A, did he damage the splitter? And he's probably got a lot of garbage on those tires, which meant when he did get back on track, he lost a lot of pace, and that allowed his teammate to close.
That was Tommy Kendall in the Viper. He moved over.
A risky maneuver, though, there, because when you're driving through there, Tommy's looking to the right. You know what I mean? Looking down towards the next corner, and if you go to that left side, that driver that you're passing is not looking in that left side mirror. He doesn't expect you to go there.
And you're doing 80 miles per hour right there, too.
Let's hear from Jamie Howe on the subject of the Vipers.
And you saw it was Tommy Kendall in that number 93 SRT Vipers that was the traffic in that P1 battle. I just spoke with Bill Riley. We saw the 93 back behind the wall repairing that left rear because of the metal shavings that came off. What's happening right now is we talk about how brutal the Sebring circuit is, and they're actually putting too much pressure. They're making the wheel pins work too hard. They're making the wheel pins work too hard. The 91, they're having the same problem right now. They might be battling up front in the GT category. However, they're going to have to come in and get these wheel pins fixed.
Oh, boy, that's not a good thing to hear.
Well, the other Viper's doing well. I think Ryan Dial may have just taken the lead away from Jimmy Bruni in the Ferrari. Traffic may be a factor, but look at this. Bruni looks like he's slowing a little bit. I mean, we've got different classes there, but typically they're at the same pace of the PC cars, and he doesn't have it. Dramas, maybe.
There's drive pin issues on the other Viper. I mean, that's a really bad situation, too, because it takes a long time to fix it.
Pit lane entrance coming up.
Inherent problem, obviously.
He's staying out.
He is.
Swings out wide, so maybe it's something that he's just recycling inside the car to get the car back up to speed, but it definitely looks like he's losing some straightaway speed. Let's take a look here.
Earlier.
This is a replay.
The 81 comes up alongside. Gets him at the right rear.
Got him on the right rear tire. Almost hit him again. It didn't hit him. I'm not sure, but he's probably just now checking out. Make sure there's no damage to that chassis.
Yeah, so that would account for the lack of acceleration off that final corner on the back straightaway. Here we see a replay of the pass lead. Ryan Dial. Johnny O'Connell talked about it. Ryan Dial is on a tremendous winning streak at the moment. Everything he touches seems to turn to gold, and he takes this Viper to the front on debut.
Sure, they're feeling a vibration from those drive pins. The bad news there, Calvin, is that if he shears those in a pack like this, it could be catastrophic.
Even the way that DL went by Jimmy Bruni there, that Ferrari doesn't seem to be up to full speed to me.
May have some tire rub or something from that contact.
hit right on the wheel, or it certainly appeared to have.
Maybe he's got a vibration. On board the 91. We approach another break. Lots of action in the pit lane. Lots of highlights thus far. That was the exit of the Delta Wing. A lot more to come here on the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring. Back live at Sebring International Raceway. With Dorsey Schrader, Calvin Fish. I'm Bob Varsha.
This is a battle for the lead. Look at
right.
this. Lucas Degrassi's made his way back by his teammate Fellier in the number 1 machine, and it's getting awfully close in traffic.
Well, they're
the Audi squad have got to be sweating. These two boys are battling hard.
And just ahead of them, you see the number 12. That's the 3rd place car in the race. Nicolas Prost in the Rebellion Lola Toyota.
Who's not giving him any easy way to get around, I guarantee you that.
But if he goes down to these guys, he'll be 3 laps down to the leaders.
Well, I think the lack of cautions here today has really hurt the petrol-powered cars. It's allowed the Audi camp to do their thing and just keep chugging away from the petrol-powered cars. Here we see the battle down there.
Oh!
That one car should have a bit more straightaway speed with that different rear aero. Degrassi tries to fight his way by the Rebellion. Look at the fast exit that the number 1 car gets onto this front straightaway.
He's going to be a bulldog in turn 1. Watch this. We've only had 2 cautions today for 6 laps. That's unheard of at Sebring. The car count is down a little.
Well, as Curly said in City Slickers, the day ain't over yet.
That's the truth.
Well, you had a really, really wide there through turn 1. He's wringing its neck. He is on a roll. Got great momentum. Fessler and Lauder have won Le Mans the last 2 years, and now the current World Endurance Championship. He's looking for the lead again, coming through turn 6.
Side by side down the straightaway to the brake zone for the hairpin.
He wanted it badly. You can just tell in the language of the car. He's really, really driving hard through turn 1, trying to make up that gap. Sensational stuff as Audi allowed their 2 boys to go at it.
Good for the fans around here. A ton of people watching this race on television and also here. This is a huge crowd, as it always is in Sebring.
Audi have had 10 victories come their way here at Sebring, but boy, oh boy, you'd think they got the race in their back pocket here, but not let their 2 boys beat on each other.
Sweeps around the outside. That's total commitment. I mean, you have to be so confident of your car and the cars around you to make a move like that, because one miscue, it's over with.
And I think they do have a lot of confidence, those drivers in that machine. They've had so much success, and that makes confidence.
Here's your P2 class leader. Guy Cosmo brought in the Extreme Speed Motorsports HPD ARX to Antwerp.
Routine stops here down with the 01 car. David Brabham just climbed aboard and Guy Cosmo got out of the car. I think I detected a little bit of a limp, maybe just got a little bit of cramp in his foot, but Guy been doing an excellent job. Of course, he hasn't been used to a high downforce for a little while, and going to get a few words to him in a little bit, but there the car is now. He doesn't want to fire up. Yes, he does. And that's why I do this job. You hear that engine, that XPD engine just roaring away. It's a fantastic place to be.
Fantastic to see Guy Cosmo back in action. He was having a problem with his severe nosebleeds leading at the Daytona 24-hour race. He was supposed to race there with AIM Motorsport. Ultimately took a podium finish, but Guy was not feeling well enough, and good to see he's on top of that condition back in the saddle.
Boy, Calvin, in our case, that could be fatal if we had that.
All right, break it up.
There's not enough cotton wool in the world.
Let's take a look at the pass.
There we go.
Oh, trouble ahead. Is that the Flying Lizard car, GTC? Yes, and he gets a nose down the inside, and there he goes.
Degrassi got back by Fellier, and he returned the favor. Here's the outside look. Coming a problem down there in that corner there. Everyone seems to pick the wrong way, and the traffic's not reading it. We're on board with Fellier here, and he just set it up perfectly. He reads it nicely. I'll take that.
I love when that happens.
Didn't take long, did it, as Lee Diffie likes to say.
As you watch the race leader, getting back to David Brabham, who took off in the class-leading P2 car. He's got some unfinished business here. Both of his brothers, Gary and Jeff, have won here at the 12 hours.
Okay, no big deal.
But David, despite all of the
David
success he's had... Right. That was about the balance of the car, but David would certainly like to go to the next family gathering and say, I got my 12 hours now, too.
Well, Tommy Kendall tells a similar story. He said for one of the Christmas dinners, there was a trivia question put out, which of the Kendalls have not won at Sebring, and it was Tommy. His brother Bart and his father have won here.
Yep, and of course, Blackjack Brabham, 3-time world champion, drove in the Formula One race, the one and only Formula One Grand Prix of the United States, here at Sebring, 1958, and ran out of fuel. His Cooper teammate beat him, young Bruce McLaren, who at that time became the youngest Formula One race winner of all time, until beaten a couple of times. Currently, that honor belongs to Sebastian Vettel.
Dorsey, you were in that race, right?
I was alive back then. I thought he was going to say Bruce McGinnis for a while. Who's also here this weekend.
Good friend of all of ours, yep.
Saw him downstairs earlier on, taking care of the Skip Harbor display, trying to get some new customers for that.
By the way, it was 9/10 faster than Degrassi on that previous lap, so he's found the sweet spot. Just they maybe run a different tire compounds or something, but his car is really, really hooked up right now in this lower downforce configuration. Okay, they whistle through here. These prototypes just generate massive amounts of downforce, Dorsey. Almost boggles the mind for them to go through these corners at these speeds.
It was so much fun driving that section with that Audi R8. I mean, it's just barely a lift at the end of that thing, and then you just hold on, and it tears your head off as you go through those lefts and rights.
Uh-oh.
So much grip.
Somebody called BS on my comment about David Brabham not having won at the 12 Hours of Sebring. Turns out he has in 2006 in the GT2 class.
Well, your story is much better.
Yeah, I like telling the facts, getting away with a great story.
He might have won that year with Sebastian Bourdais.
He did, yeah. And Scott Maxwell in a Panos Esperante.
See, I wouldn't correct you, but Rick Ratwell from the back.
Hey, listen.
That makes him happy, though, when he gets... It's
good for him to get one right.
It'll save me a lot of emails. There's the view from one of the most dominant sports cars of all time. You know, a lot of fans are going to miss these P1 cars and all of their space-age technology in the future. Sports car racing is generally the province of well-heeled enthusiasts, and so will be going forward.
Box is terminology for pit, so we're going to see that lead Audi, I believe, pit this lap. And I think that's at the point of the race circuit where they try and dump the energy from that hybrid system so it's safer for the guys working the pit lane. Here we see Tommy Kendall. Really hard, Dorsey, when you lose many laps like they have. Just keep fighting, but this is a development process. They're still going to learn here today.
They're going to be happy nonetheless because the performance of that Viper is on song. It's led the race. It's got all the speed of the other GT cars. Of course, that's coming a long way from just last year when they started their program and had such unhappy years.
It's our colleague Tommy Kendall at work, doing what he loves to do best.
Phil Aublin there looking to the inside. Tommy had slowed a little bit to let the traffic through, and Billy Aublin came charging up, and then suddenly Tommy wanted to get back on with the program. So these are the things you have to read. So easy to miscommunicate with the other cars out there on the racetrack, Dorsey.
Absolutely. I mean, speeds don't show on TV like they are behind the wheel of these cars. You come rushing up on people. That's why we have so many of these little skirmishes with nose to tail contact, so forth. And here is our Audi. We know with no tires, it's not going to be a driver change either.
All the way down the pit lane on the speed limiter, Andrew Marriott awaits him.
And as you throw to me, it stops right at my feet. As ever, this well-drilled Yost crew goes to work again. We have the man lying on the ground, looking underneath, just checking out the underneath of the car. We've got the fuel going in. There's a set of tyres just for the left-hand side, I think, waiting ready. No, just to the left front, waiting. I don't think they will fit that. They're cleaning those lights, and we're keeping the driver in. And of course we've got the number 2 cars come in at the same time, and the 1 car goes out, hardly makes a noise as it goes. The 2 car up on the jacks now. That is getting a set of fresh Michelin rubber, and that pit stop, of course, will take a little bit longer because of that. Probably about 10 seconds, and it whirs out that unusual noise of the diesel as it goes past me and back onto the racetrack. And, well, I would say the race is very much still on between those 2 Audis. In a while, I go and talk to Dr. Ulrich, find out if there's any team orders.
Tom Christensen, you can see the familiar face and helmet. 6-time winner here at Sebring overall. Also has a 7th victory, that one in class when Penske's won back in 2008. And of course the 8-time Le Mans winner. What a record he has in this style of racing, Bob.
He is perhaps the most decorated endurance driver of all time. And a terrific guy on top of it.
Lots of fun. There you see him fighting the wheel there. I'll let those heated tires, so it's very important for these drivers to get used to the feel of these tires. Well, Tom got into Sebring a little bit late with the sad news that the 6-time Sebring winner, Tom's dad, Carl Eric, passed away last week at the age of 70. I mean, I had the privilege of enjoying Carl's company here at Sebring a few years ago, and he has a great spirit. He was a wonderful man, and you can certainly see where Tom gets his great personality from. Carl Eric was a European Rallycross champion. He was very proud of Tom, but I think most importantly, Tom was equally proud of his dad.